Alright. Damage testing Throwbarian. Let's go. First throw.
Sort of fight. And now.
Okay. Let's go in Rage. A little Frenzy Rage. Wapow. Let's walk more in the middle of the room. Okay. Second throw. Bink. Third throw. Alright, Helsik is dead. And it's AoE. Things are taking damage around it. Okay. In that case, let's go ahead and aim for the imps next. Let's back up a little bit so I don't get hit by the AoE. Another throw here. Bink. Boom. Gonna throw again. Not enough action. Then we'll just action surge. Okay. Do it again. Bang. Even do it a little crit. Boom. It's another dead. Do another one. Bang. Can I do another one? I could do an enrage throw though. There we go. Boom. And we get another action because Elixir of Bloodlust. So we just keep throwing. We just keep throwing. Alright. Can I kill 4 targets in one turn? I think we can. If this lands, it's dead. It has 4 HP. Good enough. Okay, so in one turn, we were pretty much able... We have 3 actions because of the Elixir of Bloodlust and the Action Surge. And of course, our 2 bonus actions because of Thief. We pretty much killed 4 targets. That's pretty much on par with the first 2 builds that I've done on this channel. Let's fucking go. Damn. Yo, what's going on with y'all, man? AoE back at you again with another video build guide for Baldur's Gate 3. And this time, I'm going to show y'all something special. My Throwbarian build. Yes. What is it? Well, it's literally that. You're a barbarian and you throw stuff and do a lot of damage from range. It's great. And you're pretty tanky as well, okay? This build, one of the best things about this build is it comes online super early. Most of the items can be found in Act 1 and in Act 2. So if you're looking for an early, build to do damage for your party and doesn't really need that much maintenance, this is the perfect one for you. All right. And of course, for this build guide, we're going to be using the beautiful lae'zel. Okay. I know I could be using Karlach because she is actually the barbarian of the origin characters. Unfortunately, Karlach had to get the axe this playthrough because I wanted to, explore Will's story with Missoura. You know what I'm saying? So Karlach is currently not alive in this particular playthrough. Don't cancel me on that. But best believe I will have her. The more playthroughs I do, I'm going to have her in one of the showcases. All right? Anyway. So let's get started. At level 1, we're obviously going to pick Barbarian, okay? And as far as the abilities go, we want 17 strength because another great thing about this build is it does not need the hag hair, okay? We're going to get a feat called Tavern Brawler later that will give us damage, plus it gives us a 1 to our strength. So we actually don't need the hag hair, okay? So that's why we need 17 strength there. And the next best stat is obviously Constitution. Constitution, HP, surviving, not dying. It's pretty important, okay? And then the tertiary, the third stat that I'd focus on is Dexterity. A very common thing for a lot of D&D builds is to have your Dexterity to at least 14 to give you a +2 to your AC, a +2 to your Initiative. And yeah, but it's mostly for the AC. And as far as the other stat, you can just pick whatever. I just picked Wisdom because it buffs Perception and Survival, 2 very important stats in D&D and Baldur's Gate 3. But you can just choose whatever. But make sure the most important things are Strength, Con, and Dex at these numbers. All right? Okay. At level 2, we're going to go another level into Barbarian, and we get a couple things here. Danger Sense. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against traps, spells, and surfaces. There's actually a lot of traps in this game, so that's pretty good. But more importantly, you get Reckless Attack, which you'll probably be using early. Unfortunately, Reckless Attack does not work for throwing attacks. But we're not throwing just yet. At this, for the first 3 levels, you're not really throwing stuff. You'll just be the melee, the common regular melee person. So you'll be using this early, but later in the build, you can't throw stuff with reckless attack. I wish you could. That'd make the build even stronger. But then again, it's already pretty strong, so it's a little bit of balance, I guess. So level 2 doesn't really mean much. At level 3, we're picking up another level into Barbarian, unlocking our subclass, and the subclass that we are using for this build is Berserker. Why Berserker? Because, well, Frenzied Rage is pretty damn cool. Frenzied Rage allows you to use this, Enrage Throw. All right, and this is kind of what the build is based around. You know, of course, you can have your throwing attacks for your action, but Enrage Throw allows you to throw a weapon as a bonus action. Okay, and you probably guessed it, we're gonna have more than one bonus action going into the later levels with this build. All right, so Berserker is definitely the perfect subclass for this build, and I would not choose anything else. So level 3. Berserker subclass, and what else do we get? We get another rage charge, which is pretty useful, and yeah, go Berserker, level 3. At level 4, another level into Barbarian, of course, and of course at level 4 we get a feat. Every class gets a feat, and what feat are we picking? You probably already know, Tavern Brawler. And Tavern Brawler, let me just read it out loud. When you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or, and here's the important part, throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage of attack rolls. All right? So, and of course, Tavern Brawler not only gives this great passive damage ability here, but it also lets you assign 1 to your strength or 1 to your constitution. And of course, the reason why we have 17 strength is for this reason exactly. So right now, 18 strength gives you a +4 on your damage and your attack rolls. Tavern Brawler doubles that. So now we have +8. So it doubles our damage and it doubles our chance to hit, basically. It's so good. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they nerf this thing later, because Tavern Brawler can be used in for monks as well, and the monk build is probably stronger than this one. But for now, it's pretty damn good. And Throwbarian build, I've been wanting to do a build like this for so long in D&D. It was possible, but definitely not like it is in BG3. It is super strong and it slaps. So level 4, Tavern Brawler, put 1 in strength, and get this juicy passive ability. At level 5, we're taking 1 more level into Barbarian, and why do we do that? Because we get extra attack, and extra attack does work with throwing attacks. Okay, so now at level 5, you have an action, which gives you 2 attacks, and you have, assuming it's 1 turn later, you have a bonus attack to throw even again. So at level 5, you can throw 3 times in a turn, possibly, which is pretty damn good. At level 6, we're going to take our first dip into a multi-class and take 1 level into Rogue. It is time to multi-class. It is time to make our Throwbarian even better. Once it reaches level 5 Barbarian, we got everything we wanted. We got the Frenzy, we got the Rage, we got the extra attack. You know what I'm saying? But now it's time to get some more stuff. And you probably know where this is going, but just in case you don't, we'll do it level by level. Level 6, we'll get level 1 Rogue, which you get Sneak Attack, which, by the way, it does work. Sneak Attack does work with throwing. It does. Okay, so even stronger. A little bit of extra damage on top of the damage that you already do. As far as the expertise, I just went with athletics because that's where we're shining at. We have a lot of strength. You know what I'm saying? And perception, expertise as well. Perception is very good in D&D, in BG3, in any type of tabletop game. You need to be able to perceive stuff, to perceive those traps, those that treasure here and there. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the extra ability, I just chose insight because we have a little bit of wisdom and it matches the character. You know what I mean? So level 6, dip into 1 Rogue. At level 7, we're taking another level into Rogue, being a level 2 Rogue and a level 5 Barbarian, and we pretty much don't get anything here. We can now hide, dash, and disengage with our bonus action. You'll probably find yourself disengaging more than any of these because it is a range build, and you do get disadvantage on your range attacks when you're near enemies. So you want to be as far away as possible, playing like a bow person, okay? So if anything, you'll be using disengage, but A level 2 rogue, we don't really get anything. It's the next level that we get something. And that level we get, you guessed it, Thief, extra bonus action. Which means we can do an additional enraged throw. And it adds another attack on top of our already 3 attacks that we can do in a turn. Okay, now we can do 4. So you see the concept here. We're just trying to throw our weapon as much as possible, because the more we throw it, the more damage we do. It's as simple as that. It's a very simple build, very easy concept. So yeah, level 8, we get level 3 rogue, and we grab the subclass. Thief, fast hands, super great. I think all my builds have it. It's just so good. It's just so good. And another thing a lot of my builds are going to have that you're probably going to see is level 2 fighter, because of what? Action surge. And is it coming for this build? You bet your ass it is. But for now, we're level 8 and we'll get level 3 rogue thief. At level 9, we're going to pick up actually another level into rogue because, well, I want to max out my strength, so I want to get 20 strength now, okay? And if you didn't know, so there are elixirs in the game that give you strength, right? But I like using other stronger elixirs, like the elixir of Colossus to add more damage to your attacks, or the best elixir of Bloodlust, which gives you a whole ass action if you kill something in that same turn. Okay. So I like to max my strength as much as I can with this build. So right now it's at 20. There is a vendor in Moonrise Towers in Act 2 that if you do certain stuff for her, she will give you a potion to give you +2 permanent strength, which can go over 20. So imagine this being at 22. And then in Act 3, there's a certain quest line that you can do. It's called the Mirror of Loss. You can get that for even more strength. So I believe the max strength you can have without any elixirs is 24 strength, and at that point you don't even need the elixir of Hill Giant strength or Cloud Giant strength. You can permanently run the elixir of Bloodlust, which is the elixir that I recommend for this build, because more actions means more attacks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 9th level, level 4 rogue. The feat I would choose, just ability score improvement and get more strength. More strength is more damage and more chance to hit. At level 10, we're actually going to multi-class one last time, and what are we getting? Fighter. Fighter, and I would just pick defense here for one more AC. One AC. Having high AC is really good in the game. Getting hit less means you could do more damage and less dying in the fight. You know what I'm saying? But now, once we're level 10, we're going to multi-class into fighter, get that defense, and then when we level up as a fighter, at level 2 fighter, we get, what do we get? Y'all know what I'm finna say. Action surge, baby. So now our turn as a level 11 Throwbarian, our turns are looking like 2 attacks, action surge, 2 more attacks. You probably have killed something by then, so you have an extra action with Elixir of Bloodlust, 2 more attacks, and then you have your enraged throw, 2 more attacks. So at the least per turn, you'll be attacking 8 times at ranged, doing a lot of damage per throw. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. And like I said, it comes online pretty early once we talk about the items that we're going to get a little later. You know what I'm saying? But to top it off, for our final level in this build, to cap it off, we're going to go our last level into Rogue to get that extra little bit of sneak damage and something actually pretty useful, Uncanny Dodge. So you now you take half damage from attacks, which is pretty great. Like I said, sometimes the great they say this in basketball all the time. Sometimes the best offense is a good defense. The higher AC you have, with that fighting style that we chose, Uncanny Dodge, now we're going to get hit half as much damage. So not only does the build do a lot of damage, it attacks from range. Now you're kind of tanky. It's kind of an all-rounder. It's really great. Only thing it doesn't have is spellcasting, which is kind of maybe the strongest point in Baldur's Gate 3. But it has everything else, so it's pretty damn good. Now that we talked about the levels 1 to 12, let's go over the items that I recommend using for this build. All right. Level 5 Barbarian, level 5 Rogue, level 2 Fighter, level 12 Perfect. And I only have 22 Strength because I used the Mirror of Loss with Will. And Will has 24 Charisma, so that's why I mentioned the Mirror of Loss. But if I did use it on this character, and I kind of wish I did, it'd be even that much stronger. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, like I said, most of the items in this build can be found in Act 1 and in Act 2. The only Act 3 item that I use for this build is our weapon, the lae'zel, which you can get in the circus by pickpocketing the little genie that does a little the wheel game that he scams you out of. You pickpocket the ring off of him. You talk to him to spin the wheel. He sends you to a place. This place has this trident and a couple more items and a few monsters you got to kill. But this is definitely the best in slot, mainly because it has a passive effect where it says, this weapon will return to your hand when thrown. That is the most important thing on this weapon for us, because for a throwing build to work, you have to keep throwing your weapon. And eventually, you can't just keep 10 fucking swords in your inventory. That'd be kind of weird and expensive, right? Unfortunately, in Baldur's Gate 3, there is only one other item that does this, which is, I have it right here, right? The returning pike. And there are two things wrong with this item. Why the lae'zel is just better. One is it's two-handed, so you can't wear a shield with it, which lowers your AC, makes you less tanky. And two, which is more obvious, it does less damage. But it does have this passive. This weapon will return to its owner when thrown. So the returning pike and the lae'zel are the only two weapons in the game that does this. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I wish they would add more, but then again, I think it's fine. You know, yes, you have to use the same weapon, you know, for 2 acts, but once you reach the Act 3 and get this sweet thing right here, it feels so good. And honestly, with the returning pike, it still slaps. It still does a lot of damage. It's just a little bit less effective. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's go ahead and start off with the top to bottom for items. All right? I'm going to tell y'all where I got it. I'm going to tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff and why I got the item. So first thing is the marksmanship hat. So there are 2 reasons why I'm rocking this item. One, it looks fucking cool. I mean, look at this shit. It look cool as hell. Okay, it's a fucking Van Helsing hat. But 2, you can get this very early, and getting a bonus to your attack rolls is kind of important. Not because we're doing this is not a great weapon master build. This is not a sharpshooter build. But one of the bad things is enraged throw. It gives you, it makes you frenzy strain. I think that's what it's called. Every time you throw your weapon enraged, every time you use this bonus action enraged throw, your character gets frenzy strained, and it stacks on top of each other. And frenzy strain gives you a -1 to your attack rolls, and it keeps going down and down and down during, and it lasts throughout a whole last combat. Okay, so we want a chance to hit as much as possible. There are definitely better helmets in the game, like Mask of Soul Perception and whatever, but I wanted to stay true to, you know, the build in itself, and that you can get most of the items in Act 1 and Act 2, and you can get this item from one of the Moonrise vendors. I believe her name is Roa Moonglow, and she will sell this for cheapies. Okay? But if you want to rock something more late game, you can use, where is it? This one. +2 bonus to attack, initiative, and perception checks. This, I would say this is the best in slot. But for thematic purposes, I'm rocking this one, and it looks cooler. Okay. Anyway, so the hat, marksmanship hat, get in Act 2 very early. The next item you can also get in Act 2. So the Cloak of Protection, having +1 to your AC and +1 to your saving throw is insane. Like, this item should be a legendary. And again, you can pick it up very early. This can be picked up at the Last Light Inn. I believe the vendor is named Quartermaster Tiali. All right, so before shit goes down in Last Light Inn, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but before things go down, make sure you buy this off of her for cheaps, okay? This is a very good item. This is honestly best in slot for so many builds out there, because every single build needs AC and saving throws. So, yeah, Cloak of Protection, bang. I don't even know what else I'd be rocking besides this. There are some decent ones. Displacement is good. Disadvantage on attack rolls. You know what I'm saying? But if you're just looking for all-arounder, protection's where it's at. All right? For the armor, I like rocking this forge armor. So the forge armor that you can get early in the game is very, very strong. If you're doing the adamantine forge, I'd recommend making the medium armor and the heavy armor, because that's the most effective. The weapons kind of suck. They're kind of overwhelming, to be honest. But the armor pieces, they will last you a very long time into Act 3. Okay, and so I'm having lae'zel rock the medium armor that you get from the adamantine forge. It just makes her tanky. Can she use other armor like Helldusk armor from Raphael? Sure, but you get this super late in the game. I want to show items that you can get super early and are just as almost as effective. You know what I mean? So this is why I'm rocking the adamantine scale mail. You can get it right after you discover the adamantine forge. You know what I'm saying? So boom. Gloves. Now these are actually the best in slot gloves, and these the crazy thing about these gloves, you can get these again super early. You can get these at the Underdark, in the Myconid colony. One of the vendors, what's her name, Dareth or some shit. The mushroom lady, the lady looking for her mushroom husband. Okay, you finish their quest, you save him, they give you these gloves, and these are in fact the best in slot gloves for this build. It adds extra damage to our throw attacks, and I believe there are double, triple calculations to this too. It's more than just once. I could be wrong, but I read that somewhere, and I see it happening while I'm fighting. So that might be a bug, it might not be, but these gloves definitely do the most damage with this build. All right. Next item, a very common item you're going to see in a lot of my builds, just like the Cloak of Protection. These boots, the near boots, I like to call them, they give you Misty Step, and you can't be enwebbed, entangled, ensnared, and can't slip on grease or ice. They're just super solid. They're just everything you're looking for in some boots. They give you mobility, and you can't be affected by, messed up surfaces. You know what I'm saying? And these can be found again super easily. You can find them off of Nier. You can either let Nier die from poison in the Underdark Grimforge, or you can let him out and just kill him afterwards. And you get these boots. These boots are amazing. Okay, let's move on to the weapon. So the Nirulna, I said it earlier on how to get it. I'll repeat myself very shortly again. To get this, it is in the beginning of Act 3. Okay, near the Rivington waypoint. You go into the circus, all right, and you talk to the genie, the red genie, hosting a wheel game, a scamming wheel game, okay, that is made for you to lose. What you need to do is you need to pickpocket him and steal the ring off of him. That ring is basically a loaded dice type of ring. It's making you lose. So once you pickpocket that ring off of him and talk to him again and spin the wheel will spin to where you win the jackpot. It just happens every time. Okay, he'll get pissed. He'll send you to the jungle. This jungle has some enemies and some more items in there. Actually, some more interesting items. But more importantly, at the end of that jungle, there will be a chest there. That if you can't lockpick it, you can just pick it up and take it back to your team and then lockpick it. This chest will have this trident in it, and this trident, I mean, just look at it. It's just so good. Not only does it have the homing thing, but it does extra thunder damage, and it does even small area of effect damage that may be small, but it adds up because we're attacking 8 times a turn. You know what I'm saying? And it even gives you some passive bonuses. +3 bonus to movement speed and jump distance, and you're immune to falling damage. So you have permanent feather fall. And of course, it is always glowing. Always having a light source is always a good thing in this game, you know what I mean? And it also comes with cool attacks. Zephyr Flash, it's pretty much it's pretty much every rushing attack that you've seen, but it does thunder damage instead of physical damage, and it possibly inflicts bleeding. This is very good if you're just trying to... I mostly used this when I didn't have any dashes or jumps available and I had to get somewhere. This helped me get there. You know what I mean? And of course, it hits multiple enemies. But the ability that I was actually using more than Zephyr Flash was Zephyr Break, and the reason why I used this a lot more than the other ability is because in Baldur's Gate 3, the pushing effect is so strong, because there are a lot of times in the game where instead of dealing 100 damage in a turn, you could just push someone off a ledge and they're dead instantly. There are so many instances in this game of that. And Zephyr Break not only pushes one target, it pushes a lot of targets. So you can possibly push off a whole enemy encounter with one attack. And the other beautiful thing about these abilities, they recover after a short rest. So yeah, this item is easily the best in slot for this build. But like I said, you can rock the Returning Pike. Before you find the Nirulna in Act 3, don't worry. You can find the Returning Pike at the vendor outside in the Goblin Camp. So right when you enter the Goblin Camp, you'll see a vendor, partying with all the other goblins, and they'll be selling this sweet frickin' weapon. It's good, okay? And you'll be using this Returning Pike until you get the Nirulna, because unfortunately, only these two items are the throwing items with the homing passive attached to them. Now, with that being said, there are ways to throw weapons in this game and have it return to you, but that requires us multi-classing into different classes and subclasses. For example, the level 3 fighter, you can go Eldritch Knight, and you can bond your weapon to you, so when you throw it, it always comes back. Or for Warlocks, Pact of the Blade, you can bind your packed weapon to you, and it always comes back to you. You can do that instead, but then you'll be losing out on your level 5 rogue sneak attack damage, and your level 5 extra attack from Barbarian. There's a lot of things you'll be losing out. And while those builds are still good, I didn't mind using the same weapon for 2 acts, just because I was doing so much damage. Like I said, these items can be found in Act 1 and Act 2. You'll be slapping pretty early, while everyone else is, while your spellcasters and your tanks and your healers and your bow users are still trying to find their items. You'll be fully equipped before Act 3. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I love this build, right? But when you do get to Act 3, make sure you put on the Nirulna, because it's fucking crazy, okay? And as far as the shield that I would use, I like using the Sentinel shield a lot for my builds. You can use a +3 shield, just because that +1 AC. But the Sentinel shield is, in my opinion, one of the best shields in the game because it gives initiative. The initiative is based on your dex. Our dex isn't really that high, but it gives +3 initiative. So you'll probably be able to go pretty early in the action economy, and you want to go early with this build. You want to make sure you're one of the first ones to act, because you'll definitely be able to kill a few things before it gets to the enemy's turn, right? So I recommend using the Sentinel shield for most builds, and of course it has the shield bash feature. It's just pretty good. Okay. And as far as the range weapon goes, so this is our stat stick. I'm pretty much just using it to give us fire resistance and cold resistance. Okay. Because we are a barbarian, because we're raging, we actually can't use the haste, which is what you're probably looking at. We can't concentrate on spells, unfortunately, but that's fine, because if we were able to do that, it'd be kind of overpowered. Okay, so this is fine. Honestly, for a lot of builds, for stat sticks for range weapons, this is my go-to for stat sticks, because it gives resistance to fire and cold. It's just super strong. And again, this item can be obtained in Act 2 off of Damon, and at the last light in at the vendor. Super cheap. All right, let's move on to the jewelry, to the accessories. For the amulet, you could rock a bunch of shit right now. A lot of stuff. I like doing damage, so I like rocking the amulet of branding. Pretty much, you can so this does piercing damage, and so does the Returning Pike. Okay, see, it says piercing on the damage thing. It is piercing damage, so I like to brand them. When you make enemies vulnerable in this game, by the way, while I'm talking about it, there's an illithid power that you guys should be aware about. So perilous stakes, use this on enemies to make them vulnerable to damage, and it's I believe you can do it off of range too. It's not a melee touch. So if you don't want to use amulet of branding, you could just use this illithid power. If you're not using this illithid power, I would suggest having this in the party. If an enemy is vulnerable, they take double damage from any source. All right, and Perilous Stakes does that. This amulet, it'll give us vulnerable to piercing. Okay, and that's what we want. But this one, it's even better because it's vulnerable to all damage. So if you don't know, now you know. Use Perilous Stakes on enemies. All right, but yeah, amulet, you can interchange it. You can use the Misty Step amulet. That's a very good one to stack on top of your Misty Step from the near boots. If you want more HP, bang. But I would recommend using this amulet of greater health for your spellcasters so they can concentrate on their spells more because of the concentration saving throws. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would focus on using those, and even you could even use this because you can take another illithid power that lets you crit. That lets you choose to crit on an attack. You can combine that with the crit amulet over here and paralyze a humanoid. So there's a bunch of options. For me, the most consistent one was the amulet of branding. I use this every time I fight, and it just makes us do double damage. So yeah. And again, you can get this. Guess what? In Act 2, you can get this at the creche, the vendor at the creche. It's a very popular vendor. I think their name is Ajaknir some. Okay, that's their name. All right, and they sell a lot of great items over there, along with the knife, along with the gloves of dexterity. They sell a bunch of great stuff over there. So, and amulet of branding is one of those items that they sell. So don't miss this. As far as the rings go, the ring of flinging, this item can be found at the very first vendor that you run into. Okay, and this stacks on top of these gloves, by the way. Yeah, I don't even know his name. It's the short little gnome dude. Okay, right when you enter Emerald Grove. Okay, when your characters are level 1, 2, or 3, this vendor sells that. So just buy it from him for however. I think he's selling it for like 100 gold, something like that. Super cheap. And then the other ring, you can use whatever you want. Again, I love damage. If I'm playing a damage character, I want to make sure I focus on doing damage. I kind of tunnel vision on it. So I like using the Caustic Band. The Caustic Band just adds two acid damage on top of my attacks. And guess what? This can also be found very early in the game in Act 1 in the Myconic Colony in the Underdark at the vendor. I think the vendor's name is Blurg. Okay. The opposite vendor that you get these gloves from. Okay. And they sell the Caustic Band there. They also sell really good items. So I'm actually doing another playthrough. It's my 6th playthrough, some shit, goddamn. But I want to explore Karlach's story and Gale's story because I haven't done that yet. And I also want to do the Dark Urge because I haven't really done that too much yet either. And I also want to do it with a hireling, so that's my 4-person team. But more importantly, I want to make 3 videos. Obviously, I like doing these build videos, and I'm going to keep doing these, but I feel like there are a lot of items that people miss in this game, and I have a pretty good general idea of where all the good items are. So what I want to do, I want to make a video on the best items to get in Act 1, the best items to get in Act 2, and the best items to get in Act 3. So let me know if y'all want to see that. I think I'm just going to make them anyway, just because, I don't want to make the knowledge of this game go to waste. I be seeing people making those kind of videos, and they do pretty well. So just expect that from me, in the near future. All right, but yeah, that's the gear that I'll get for this character. Again, 90% of this gear can be found in Act 1 and Act 2. So if you want a build that can pop out early, you'll be set to go right from the get-go. Throwbarian, baby. All right. All right. Now let me show y'all, I guess, a little demo on how to play the build. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so we're over here as first for Sundays. Let's just go ahead and see how much damage we can do, man. Alright, I'm just start throwing shit. First let me go ahead and equip this. Keep forgetting that. I'm just gonna start throwing shit. Boom.
I know what to do.
Okay. Oh, look at that thing. What the fuck? Alright. Where's my weapon at? Oh. Pick it up! Oh no. Oh no. It didn't return to me. Well, that's awkward. that's something that I should mention. It is buggy. The throwing build is cool and all, but there will be times, it doesn't happen very often, but there will be times where your weapon will not return to you. I have not figured out a workaround for this, so unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to reload. My bad. Alright, so we're gonna do some damage testing here at the counting house because there's some enemies here with 100 HP and pretty high AC. So let's just get it going, man. I'm gonna just start throwing shit. And I'm gonna rob them after. Okay. Boom.
Not a single act wasted.
Okay.
So 5.
First throw. Let's go. Let's go. We got good initiative. We're gonna go ahead and frenzy. You can only rage in combat, so we couldn't rage immediately. But now we're raging, so now we do even more damage. Let's keep throwing. Let's just see how many times we could throw, how much damage we could do. Bang. Keep throwing. Oh, where's that? There you go. Sometimes it takes a little while for the weapon to return to you. Okay. Alright. Okay. Keep throwing. Good shit. Alright. That's one of them down. Okay. Keep throwing. We're just gonna keep throwing until we can't no more. See, it already took AoE damage from earlier. Because it's nearby. Alright. I might be lagging a little bit, but we're just gonna keep throwing. Bang, another one dead. Alright. Alright, oh, there's some dudes outside. Okay, let me get right here. Can I keep throwing? Oh, I don't have an action. Oh, action surge. Little action surge. We keep throwing. Just keep doing our thing. We'll even do a little crit here. Bang. Keep throwing, baby. Keep throwing. Mm-hmm. And that guy's 1 HP, so for our last throw, we can just head for this guy and kill that guy over there. Because we have... Let me make sure we can't throw this one anymore. No actions. Okay, we can throw one more time. And it should kill on the guy on the left, because it does AoE damage. We missed on that one, unfortunately, but... I mean, we killed 3 high HP targets, high AC targets, by the way. And so let me explain what just happened. We have more than one action because 1 extra action from Action Surge and 1 extra action from Elixir of Bloodlust. If you don't know, now you know. Elixir of Bloodlust is probably the best elixir in the game. Having an additional action is just crazy, especially for builds that attack and have the extra attack feature, because an extra action means 2 more attacks. So, pretty easy concept here. We want as many actions as possible. We want as many bonus actions as possible, and that's why we were able to throw our trident like 8 times that turn. All right. So yeah, that's how you play the build. All right, and that's it for the video guide, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all did, please leave a like, please leave a sub, please leave a comment. All that helps, I promise you. You know, it's a little algorithm shit, right? This YouTube stuff. I actually really enjoy making these guides. For the longest time, I was just gaming, out here min-maxing on my own, you know, hanging out with my friends. But now I know that it's actually pretty fun, you know, seeing what you guys think about these builds, sharing this knowledge, you guys sharing some shit with me. It's pretty cool, right? And I have a bunch of builds on the table, on the idea list that I want to make. The next one you're probably going to see from me is actually, so I have now shown y'all 3 high damage dealing builds. All right, so now I'm but I know more than that. Okay, so next video I'm gonna show y'all the ultimate support character. There'll be a healer /control character. And that's the character I actually use the most in my campaigns, because without that character, it's kind of hard to play. You know, you kind of need that one person in the party to not do any damage, but to have them do everything else, to heal, to provide some crowd control, to provide you some buffs, to give the enemies debuffs. You kind of need that character, and that's the kind of build I want to make next, just in case anyone who's interested in that. But of course, I have more damage builds. I have more builds in general that I want to share with y'all, and I will. Okay, my upload schedule is probably gonna look like something like this: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know what I mean? 3 uploads a week. I think that's cool, and that's something that I can keep up with. And you know, the more I keep playing the game, the more I find new stuff, and then I want to share that. You know, I want to share that with the interwebs. You know what I'm saying? I think after or along the way when I do these build guides, of course, I said it earlier, I want to make a video on the best Act 1 items. I want to make one on the best Act 2 items, and of course the best Act 3. That's that's 3 separate videos. It'll take a little bit of while to make because I just started a new campaign focused towards that. I'm gonna prioritize, you know, on a little mini guide on how to eat, how to get each and every single item. Every good item. It's not going to be every single item. Goddamn, that's too much. But every good item, every item that's like, you know, a game changer or a build maker. That's what the videos are gonna be meant for. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got a bunch of shit in the pipeline. I got a bunch of ideas. So if you're interested in any of that, anything Baldur's Gate 3 related or anything gamer related, I'm a real gamer out here, bro. I play games all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? And I surround myself with people who do the same. I got a lot of friends. Even my wife is a gamer herself. You know what I mean? So I love gaming, right? And I'm starting to love this new social media fucking uploading stuff on sharing the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm starting to notice some of you in the comments are actually spitting some game at me as well. So I'm kind of loving it. All right. So expect a lot of content from me. For now, it's gonna be Baldur's Gate 3. I also love Dark Souls games. I mean. And shit like that. So I stay gaming. I want to make these videos. I want to make this content. It's super fun. And again, if y'all appreciate any of this stuff, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub. It helps a lot. The whole algorithm thing is kind of crazy, but all I know is the more clicks, the better it is. Okay. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll see you on my next video. All right. The next video is probably going to be the ultimate support guide. So until then, peace out.